Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. A mildly different reaction to the one I got when I entered here. How many people saw that group of people protesting We the People? Does anybody know what happened to that group? They got into their buses and they left. Does anybody know how that happened? I walked up to them and I started to throw little pixie dust of truth on them, and they started to freak out. And I saw coils springing out of their union heads. I learned this last year, and I'm just here to give you a nice little lesson about how to take on this AstroTurf campaign against people who simply want to get back to constitutional basics and fiscal responsibility. This AstroTurf organization that was out there, I confronted them. They were pretending to be a religious group. They had seen the Beck row and they said, we're good liars, why don't we pretend that we're a religious group and protest these people? They said, stop the hate. I saw signs that said, stop the hate. And 2 people called me a homosexual. I called my wife and 4 kids. I go, are you sure? I just got a little worried there. And I started to ask them basic questions. They were all holding up these signs. One person said, stop the hate. I go, give me one example of hate from this group. Couldn't answer. I said, give me an example. One guy had a sign that said, Glenn Beck lies. I said, I'm not going to ask for 100 or 10. I'm going to ask for one example of how Glenn Beck has lied. And he said, I'm not going to get caught in your trap. Then these individuals who all came here on their own volition because they're inspired by their individuality, I started asking, who here's from the SCIU? They're like, start frazzled. One leader says, get away from him, get away from him. There's 300, I'm one person. I've been spit at, I've been called a homosexual by a group that wants to stop the hate. And I say, come on, tell us why you're here. Will somebody tell me why you're here? One lady came over to me and she said, I'm here on my own volition. I said, how did you find out? How did you find out about this group? She said, I got an email from OFA, Organizing for America. It's Barack Obama. Do you want to go to OFA? Go to barackobama.com. This is AstroTurf. And they have been at you since day one of the campaign 4 years ago when Barack Obama started to run for office. They have been the ones that have been accusing you of the hatred and the violence that they are guilty of. But guess what? We, the people, stood up to them. We disbanded them there. We took care of Acorn. SEIU is spiraling into a pension hell. We figured out who they are. It is our obligation now to circumvent the mainstream media that has been complicit every step of the way. They're going down. Everybody here knows it. Everybody here is a reporter now. Everybody here is a cameraman. We are the media now, and we record everything. So you will see those lovely videos of spit flying in the air and hitting my forehead, and me being called a homosexual by the lovers, not the haters. We are having fun at their expense. Join the new media revolution. Everywhere you go, bring a camera. At the polling place, in your job, if you see corruption, let's report it. We'll have fun together. We are taking back this country. We are the majority. I spoke at the Ground Zero Mosque, And the media came to me and said, why would you speak at such a controversial event? And I said, 70% of the American people are against the Ground Zero Mosque. How can something that the majority are for be controversial? Then I spoke at the 9/12 event at the Capitol, and people said, why would you speak at a controversial event like the Tea Party? The majority of the people are with the Tea Party. The only thing that's controversial is the mainstream media. We are in a battle. We are in a civilizational battle between the politically correct and the common sense. We are the majority, and we started to figure out how to find each other. Call it social networking, call it coming to arenas and saying we stand up for America, but we found each other. This is not about November. This is about the future. This is about 100 years. This is not about the next 2 months. We have finally discovered that we have to take this country back, and we, the people, have to become the media. We have to become vigilant. I can't tell you how proud I am that I run a citizen journalism operation. I have 9 people on payroll. The rest are you. And we are beating the ABC, NBC, CBS, the New York Times, the Washington Post, fueled on people power. Thank you very much. And on that note, I want to introduce you one of my allies. I want to tell you, before the Tea Party, there was an underground Hollywood. They knew that what was coming before, because the left took over Hollywood 40 years ago. And those people are afraid to speak up in totalitarian leftist Hollywood. And so John David worked under that name, a pseudonym, for years, until in the Wall Street Journal, he said, I am going to sing my song, my love song for America, in my own name. On the front page of the Wall Street Journal, his person that he was working with told him that it was wrong for him to come out as a conservative. He lives in a totalitarian place, but he sang his song at the Nashville Tea Party. It's called American Heart, and Sarah Palin called it a love song for America. It should become the anthem for the next 4, 6, 8 years, because it is exactly the optimism that this country needs right now. We are not a defeatist nation. We are not a nihilistic nation. We are a proud nation. Ladies and gentlemen, John Kahn, American Heart.